Welcome to CityWise. I'm your host, Tiana Stevens. CityWise is produced by the City of Rochester to shine a spotlight on city living at its best. Well, the goal is to encourage teens to read the same book at the same time and create engaging conversations about that topic. Well, this year, the Greater Rochester Teen Read is focused on a serious issue of nationwide importance: race relations and police brutality. Tanya Burton is the Children's Services Consultant at the Monroe County Library System, and Josh Wood is participating in the Greater Rochester Teen Read. They're here to tell us more. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having us.
Tanya, what is the Greater Rochester Teen Read, and how long has this been happening in Rochester?
So the Teen Read has been happening. It's actually, there is a Teen Read Week that is nationwide.
Okay.
So it's been going on for several years. We decided to change it to just Teen Read and have it at a later time to make it easier for authors to get in to Rochester.
And so authors of whichever book is chosen will tour around the country. Is that how it works?
We in Rochester, Monroe County, choose a book that we think is important that our teens will want to read. So it's not necessarily the same book.
And so what book did you choose for this year?
So this year we chose All American Boys by Jason Reynolds and Brendan Kiley.
Okay. Josh, do you want to tell us about the book? You've read it.
Yeah, the book is great. I think it relates to everyday life that people are dealing with now. It's really engaging.
Without spoiling too much, tell us about the story and the characters.
There are two characters, Quinn and Rashad. It's a racial book, so you have Rashad, the dark guy, and then you have Quinn, the light guy, the white guy.
Okay.
Rashad the black. So Rashad have this incident with a police officer who Quinn happened to know about, which is his friend, older brother.
So he knows the officer.
Yes.
Okay.
And then word got out. Actually, the incident with Rashad and police officer was recorded and was uploaded by Rashad brother. So it's just a whole bunch of controversy going on, and both of the characters, they're just going through a lot. I mean, they young, they still in high school, and they're just dealing with this, so I know it's really tough for them. So.
And Tanya, you've also just finished the book, and the authors that are coming here, pretty high profile. It's an award-winning book. Tell us about the authors and how they came to collaborate on this book.
Back in 2013, Jason and Brendan were doing a book tour together, and they were actually rooming together, I guess. And that was during the Trayvon Martin case when that was going on. And it's important to know that Jason is an African-American male, Brendan is a white male.
Okay.
And so they're rooming together and discussing this case, and obviously, having some uncomfortable moments, but they both realized that they needed to have that conversation, and they were both very upset about it. And so they kept talking about it, and then a few years later, another incident happened, and they realized they really had to write this book.
And that was the Michael Brown case.
And that was the Michael Brown case, yes.
Josh, can you relate to the characters in the book and the storyline?
I kind of could. I mean, I never really ran into an incident with a police officer. But I do know a few people that have, and I mean, it's traumatizing for that individual. I mean, like, just having a police officer, someone who here to protect and help, just like, just beat you down or just harass you in a certain way, and, just lock you up over like petty stuff more than actually just having a conversation and letting them know that is wrong about what you're doing. I mean, I see it on the news, I hear about it, so it's very relatable.
What were some of the moments in the book that maybe you had to pause and set it down and have a conversation with someone?
Well, I haven't actually done that, but I mean, I tell my friends, like, hey, you gotta get this book, you gotta read it. is really interesting. I mean, it's really relatable. Like, I remember telling my friend, like, certain dialogue in the book between Rashad and his friends is like us. I mean, he have a friend named Shannon who instigates things and just like hype the argument up when they talk about each other, and I'm just like laughing in my head. There's a lot of moments like that in the book, and they do play sports, which I do, which is basketball. So that's really relatable, and just the conversation they have is what I have with my friends, and I just enjoy that.
And Josh, you're a college student. What age would you recommend? You know, how young is too young, or what is the the age group for the teen read?
I mean, I want to say as young as 12 and up. Maybe even younger than that. I mean, if you want to read a book like this at a young age, probably about what I want to say 10, then I mean it's acceptable.
Would you agree with that, Tanya?
I would say it would depend on the kid that's reading it. There's some language in there. There's definitely some brutality in it, obviously. So it would depend on the maturity of the kid reading it.
Okay. So what exactly is happening, events around All American Boys?
So we'll be having events. Fairport High School has the authors coming in. The Irondequoit Library has the authors coming on November 9th from 7 to 9.
So this is a countywide
It is a countywide read. And then the Central Library will be having the authors on Thursday, November 10th from 4 to 5:30.
Okay. Are these free events?
They are all free events.
Excellent.
And at the Central Library, we'll also be giving away autographed copies of the book.
Oh, wonderful. So in the meantime, where can people find the book? Can they get it at the library?
They can get it at their local library.
Okay, that's excellent. Josh, what questions do you have for the authors after reading the book?
I do want to ask them what made them get the idea of creating this book. What was they thinking about while writing the book and discussing it together? And how did they get that specific dialogue between
It was so real.
Yeah, it was so real, man. I loved it. I just want to ask them 3 questions because I feel like they was there.
Right.
Like, was you just sitting on the side, just letting them have a conversation and stuff? And I want to also say, how did you guys think of the idea of Rashad family and Quinn family and the issues that's going on with them?
And you're majoring in psychology, you told me. So reading this book, did you look at it through the eyes of a psychologist? Were you kind of analyzing the characters in that way? That's interesting. Tanya, what questions would you like to ask the authors?
Similar to what Josh said, how did they have that dialogue? Because that's a tough dialogue to have, but it's an important dialogue. And what I loved about this book, it was hard for me to read, but I couldn't put it down either. I cried. I had a lot of conversations with friends and colleagues and my husband about it, and I want to know really what other kinds of conversations around the country have been started because of this book. I know that they're touring for this book right now, and I'm sure it has really brought about some great conversations. And what I loved most about this book is that, unlike the news where you get maybe one side of the story or part of another side, this really lets you into Rashad's head and Quinn's head, the police officer's head, and there's kind of a little twist with Rashad's dad and the police also, which was really interesting. So you kind of have a chance in a safe environment to put yourself in each person's shoes, which when you see something on the news, it's generally you don't generally have that opportunity. So.
And how is social media playing a role in these conversations? I understand there's a hashtag for the read.
There's a hashtag for Greater Rochester Read. It's hashtag GRTR 2016. Within the book, there's actually hashtags also that I don't want to give away because I want people to read the book and check out the hashtags themselves. But they're real hashtags.
Josh, have you posted anything about the book on your own pages?
Not yet. To be honest, I wasn't really thinking about it. I just like read the book, just tell my friends about it, just kept it to myself. But that is a good idea.
Tanya, finally, what's the community reaction to the book, to the events? What are people saying?
So far, I haven't heard a lot of community reaction about it. I'm really looking forward to the week, the second week in November, when the authors are here, and seeing what happens in the two different library events that they have. I really hope there's going to be some great discussion around it.
Excellent. Why is this so important for Rochester and the surrounding area?
It's important. I think it's important for everyone. It's important for Rochester because we have to have these conversations. There, especially this last summer, there's a lot of anger around different race relation issues, and until we have these conversations, and the authors at one point said, until they went down that rabbit hole, and I think we need to do that. I think we need to be in a room together, and Josh and I were talking about this in the car on the ride over, and we have to feel safe. If I say something, he needs to feel comfortable saying, Tanya, that's not cool. This is what you should say. And I have to be open to hearing that and saying, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. And having those honest conversations because, I'm from Batavia. I'm not from the city. So my perspective is completely different from Josh's perspective. And until we both try to look through each other's lens, this issue is never going to go away.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. For more information about the Greater Rochester Teen Read and the upcoming author visits, head to Monroe County Library's teen webpage. The address is on your screen. You can also call 428-8451.